Good morning. Today we are going to talk about classical trade theories. Last week we talked about the mercantilism and theory of absolute advantage. According to Adam Smith, wealth of nation is determined by satisfaction from consuming goods and services. So according to Adam Smith, country must export and import with the rest of the world in order to increase its wealth through increasing satisfaction of its consumers. As we said last time, that Adam Smith believed that the assumption of his model are the 7 assumptions of the general equilibrium in case of autarky, in addition to 5 more assumptions. And then we explain the idea of absolute advantage. If you are given the following: as we said before, that the world consists of 2 countries, A and B. Each one of them produces 2 commodities, soybeans and textile. And this schedule shows number of hours required to produce a single unit of a commodity. So say for example, country A takes 4 hours in order to produce a single unit of soybeans, and 8 hours in order to produce a single unit of textile, while country B takes 6 hours in order to produce a single unit of soybeans and 2 hours in order to produce a single unit of textile. Which country has an absolute advantage in soybeans and which in textile? If the country has an advantage in the production of a specific commodity, then the country will specialize in the production of this commodity and produce 0 or nothing from the other commodity. So in order to identify which country will specialize in soybeans, we have to compare the number of hours required to produce a single unit of soybeans in the 2 countries. So in country A, it takes 4 hours to produce soybeans, while in country B, it's 6 hours. So it's better for country A to specialize in the production of soybeans. So country A has an absolute advantage in production of soybeans. And with respect to textile, we are going to compare between the number of hours required to produce a single unit of textile in A and B. Country A takes 8 hours, while country B takes only 2 hours. So it's better for country B to specialize in the production of textile. So country B has an absolute advantage in the production of textile. This is the case before specialization. So we would like to know what is the number of units produced by each country before specialization. As we said, country A takes 4 hours to produce 1 unit of soybeans. So number of units is 1. It takes 8 hours in order to produce 1 unit of textile. So number of units is 1. With respect to country B, it takes 6 hours in order to produce 1 unit of soybeans. And with respect to textile, 2 hours in order to produce 1 unit of textile. So if the case is number of hours per unit, the production before specialization will be 1111. Now, country A will specialize in soybean textile. So what is the level of production after specialization? As we said, country A will specialize in soybeans. Total number of hours in country A are 12 hours. They are going to produce a unit every 4 hours. So in 12 hours they can produce 3 units. So country A will produce 3 units of soybeans and 0 textile. With respect to country B, total number of hours are 8 hours. They are going to specialize in textile. They produce a unit every 2 hours. So they can produce 4 units. So country B will produce 4 units of textile and 0 soybeans. Now we would like to calculate world gain from specialization and the production. In order to calculate gain is calculated as after minus before. After specialization, 3 units. Before specialization, 1. So net is positive 2. With respect to textile, after specialization, 0. Before, 1. So it is negative 1. For country B, in case of soybeans, after specialization, 0. Before, 1. So it's negative 1. With respect to textile, after specialization, 4. Before, 1. So it's a 3. Now we would like to calculate total world gain or loss from specialization. So we are going to add the column. For soybeans, it's 2 minus 1. 1. Due to specialization, world production of soybeans is going to increase by 1. In case of textile, it's negative 1 and 3. So net is 2. So due to specialization, world production of textile is going to increase by 2. This is the example in case of number of hours required to produce a single unit of the commodity. It can be the same concept, which is absolute advantage, but using different methods. If I am going to give you number of units produced instead of number of hours, number of units per hour. Okay. This means that country A produces 4 units in 1 hour. Country A produces 4 units of soybeans in hour and 6 units of textile in hour. And the same for country B. It produces 8 units of soybeans in an hour and 2 units of textile in an hour. This is production, okay? So it's better for the country to specialize according to the greater quantity. So absolute advantage in this case is based on the number of units. Country A produces 4 units per hour, while country B produces 8 units of the same commodity per hour. So it's better for country B to specialize in the production of soybeans. They are going to produce more in 1 hour. The same with respect to textile. Country A produces 6 hours per hour, while country B produces 2 units per hour. So it's better for country A to specialize in textile. So country A has an absolute advantage in textile, and country B has an absolute advantage in soybeans. Now we would like to calculate production after specialization. After specialization, country A will specialize in textile. Country A produces 4 units in 1 hour and 6 units in 1 hour. So total number of hours is 2 hours. So workers in country A work for 2 hours or produce in 2 hours. Now we are going to devote the 2 hours to the production of textile. So we are going to produce 2 multiplied by 6, which is 12, and 0 soybeans. Okay, once again. Country A produce soybeans and textile. They are going to produce 4 units of soybeans in an hour and 6 units of textile in an hour. So total number of hours, 2. Now we are going to produce textile only. And we are going to work for 2 hours in the production of textile. So we can produce 12 units. Okay, so we are going to produce 12 units of soybean of textile and 0 soybeans. In case of country B produces soybeans 8 units per hour and 2 units of textile per hour. So total number of hours are 2 hours. We are going to specialize in the production of soybeans. So they can produce 16 units of soybeans and 0 textile. So this is production after specialization. Now we would like to calculate world gain from production and specialization in this case. Okay, production after specialization. Sorry, world gain is calculated as after minus before. So after specialization, production is 0, and before it was 4. So the net is negative 4. With respect to textile, after specialization it is 12 units. Before was 6. So the net is 6. With respect to country B, after specialization 16 units. Before was 8. So the net is 8. In case of textile, after specialization is 0. Before was 2. So it's negative 2. So if you would like to find world gain, it's the summation of the column. Negative 4 plus 8 is 4. And with respect to T, 6 minus 2, it's 4. So due to specialization, world production of soybeans is going to increase by 4 units, and of textile is going to increase by 4 units as well. Okay, to sum up, we have calculated or decided which country will specialize in soybeans and in textile based on 2 different approaches. Number of hours per unit and the number of units per hour. And this is production before specialization. In both cases, we are going to compare soybeans in country A and soybeans in country B. Number of hours طبعا. This is number of units in country A and the country B. In case of number of hours, we are going to select the lower number. In case of number of units, we are going to select the higher or the greater number. Okay. In case of number of units, before is 1111. In case of number of units, this is before. This is before specialization. Okay, another example in order to be clearer. Okay, 5 and 10, 20 and 4. Use the schedule in order to calculate world gain from specialization and production. Assume that this schedule represents number of hours per unit once and number of units per hour in another time. So with respect to the first case, we are going to calculate it as number of hours per unit. So this is number of hours to produce a single unit of soybeans. So we are going to select the smaller number. This means that country A will specialize in soybeans and country B will specialize in textile. Before specialization, 1, 1, 1, 1. After specialization, total number of hours 15. We are going to produce a unit every 5 hours. So we are going to produce 3 units and 0 textile. In case of country B, total number of hours 24. We are going to produce 4 units per hour, so it's 6 units. Sorry, 4 hours. We are going to take 4 hours per unit. So we can produce 6 units and 0 soybeans. Then, in order to calculate world gain, it's after minus before. 3 minus 1, 0 minus 1, 0 minus 1, 6 minus 1. Okay, so it's 2, negative 1, negative 1, 5. So world gain or loss will be 1 and 4. This is the first case. In case number B, this is number of units per hour. In this case, we are going to select the greater or the larger. 5 and 20. So 20 is larger. So production of soybeans. And this is the number of units that can be produced in only 1 hour. Okay. With respect to country A, we are going to specialize in textile as it's larger. So 10 is the number of units that can be produced in 1 hour. And this is production before. If you would like to find production after, after specialization, country A will specialize in textile. They are going to work for 2 hours. They produce 10 units per hour, so they can produce 20 units of textile and 0 soybeans. With respect to country B, they are going to specialize in soybeans and they are going to work for 2 hours, so they can produce 40 units of soybeans and 0 textile. This is production after specialization. If you would like to calculate world gain or loss, it's after minus before. 0 minus 5. It's negative 5. 40 minus 20. It's positive 20. 20 minus 10. It's positive 10. 0 minus 4. It's negative 4. If you would like to calculate world gain or loss, it is the summation of the column. Negative 5 and 20, it's 15. 10 minus 4 is 6. So due to specialization, world production of soybeans is going to increase by 15 units, and from textile is going to increase by 6 units. The case of absolute advantage, or the theory of absolute advantage, if each country has an advantage in the production of a specific product. What about if a country has an advantage in the production of two different commodities? In this case, which country has an absolute advantage in soybeans and which in textile? With respect to soybeans, this is number of hours per unit. We are going to compare soybeans in two countries, so it's better for country A country A has an absolute advantage in soybeans. In case number 2, which is textile, country A has an absolute advantage in the production of textile. So we have only one country that has an absolute advantage in the production of two different commodities. Do you think this country will produce everything and the world will buy or import the product from it? Of course not. So this is known as theory of comparative advantage. So we have to search about a comparative advantage. Theory of comparative advantage was developed by David Ricardo. According to Ricardo, if a country has an absolute advantage in the production of two different commodities, and the other country has disadvantage in the production of the two other commodities, as a result, we are going to search about the greatest advantage or the lowest disadvantage. Okay. The greatest or the highest advantage and the lowest disadvantage, this is the comparative advantage. So if a country has an absolute advantage in the production of two different commodities,